the case of the missing cookie.
In a cozy little house at the end of a quiet street, there lived a mischievous little mouse named Milo. Milo had a weakness for cookies, especially the ones baked by Mrs. Whiskerton, the friendly old cat who lived next door. One sunny afternoon, as Mrs. Whiskerton took a batch of freshly baked cookies out of the oven, she heard a tiny giggle coming from the cookie jar. Puzzled, she opened the jar and gasped in surprise. There were only crumbs left. "Who could have taken my cookies?" Mrs. Whiskerton wondered aloud. As Mrs. Whiskerton scratched her head, trying to solve the mystery, she noticed a trail of cookie crumbs leading out the door and down the street. With a determined look on her face, she grabbed her detective hat and set off to catch the cookie thief. Milo, realizing he had been caught red-handed, or should we say crumb-handed, scampered away as fast as his little mouse legs could carry him. But Mrs. Whiskerton was hot on his trail, following the crumbs through gardens, over fences, and under bushes. After a wild chase that seemed to last for ages, Mrs. Whiskerton finally cornered Milo behind the town's cheese shop. With a stern but playful glare, she wagged her finger at the guilty mouse. "Milo, you know better than to steal cookies," she scolded gently, "but I suppose I can't stay mad at you for long." With a sheepish grin, Milo apologized and promised never to swipe another cookie again. Mrs. Whiskerton forgave him with a warm hug and even shared her secret cookie recipe with him. From that day on, Milo and Mrs. Whiskerton became the best of friends, baking cookies together and sharing adventures in their cozy little neighborhood. And whenever Milo felt tempted to sneak into the cookie jar, he remembered the day he learned that friendship was sweeter than any treat.